Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from where you're watching me from. Again, welcome to Code Zone KE. This is the introduction to Java programming series that you already started. So you're most welcome to take this journey with me. So today we're going to learn a little bit on Java, and by the end of the session, you'll have known how to write and run a simple Java program of Hello World. So again, just as a beginner, we start with introducing what is Java. We normally talk and say Java is a multi-paradigm language. Multi-paradigm language simply means Java runs a lot of things. When you're doing an installation in Java, you realize Oracle talks about Java runs 3 billion devices, which is true because we're using Java to do desktop application, we're using Java to do mobile application, we're using Java to do web application. So Java is quite extensive. So it's a multi-paradigm language. It is used to do code for several devices. There are four major platforms that we have in Java. The first one is Java Card. Most of us have gone to a parking where, or rather even seen a parking where once you're entering the parking, you're given a card. Then you stay for some times and do whatever you're doing. And as you're leaving the parking, you're given the card and you have to pay for the gate to open for you to be able to exit. So most of those systems are run on Java. And the platform that is used to code for such things, they are called Java Card. So Java Card is just used to do such kind of systems and also the small memory devices. Then we have the Java Micro Edition or Java ME. Java ME, there are two kinds of phone. We have the smartphone and the feature phones. The feature phones used to be the old ones, those that used to have the physical keypad rather than the one that we have with the touch screen and everything like that. So the feature phones, most of those feature phones were built using the Macro Edition, the Java ME. And then we have even printers. Most of those that code for printers and stuff like that, they actually use Java Micro Edition. So that is the work of Java ME. Then we have the Java Standard Edition that is used to build desktop application, the user interface based application, or rather what you're going to learn that is called the Swing application. So most of what you're going to be doing is Java Standard Edition. But by the end of the course, I'm also going to show you how to use Java SE to build a distributed system. Then we have the final one, which is Java Enterprise Edition or Java EE, which is used to do web-based application. Enterprise application is used to do the distributed system. You've had servlets and stuff like that. Those use Java Enterprise Edition. So the main one that you're going to focus, in case you're asked what are we learning, you're actually learning the Java Standard Edition. There are two things, or rather two softwares that are needed to run any Java application. The first one is an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development Environment is where we're going to write the code, debug or test our code and see it has no errors, and you're going to execute the source code. Normally, all the IDEs save these source codes as a .java. The extension, the file extension is normally .java. And the IDE that you are using is NetBeans. There are other IDEs. We have JCreator, we have Notepad++, we have Eclipse. It will depend, but this tutorial is fully dedicated to NetBeans, and the NetBeans that I'm using is NetBeans 15. I'm going to leave a link on how to download, and also I'm going to also explain a little bit on how to install. Then we have the Java Development Kit, the JDK. This is where you execute the bytecode. What happens once you write your source code, it runs as an extension of .java. You'll find once you run your code, it creates another file that is a .class. That is what we call a bytecode with the same name as the one that you had saved in .java. So this is what the JDK used to execute. So the JDK is used to execute the bytecode for it to interpret and give you an output. So those are the two major softwares that are used to run any Java application. The beauty about The Java bytecode is this. It doesn't matter the kind of processor that you have. It doesn't matter the kind of operating system that you have. The only idea is you need to have a JDK in whatever device that you're going to run any Java application. It doesn't check the operating system, whether you're running on Windows, Linux, or anything. Java bytecode runs on. It is totally independent of the two. Now, we normally say that Java is an object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming, in simple terms, we are looking at the concept of classes and objects. I know we are going to talk in details about this once we start using those terms, or rather, once we start using the concept of object-oriented. So object-oriented, when you talk of a class is a container, think of a flower. A flower can be a container, very general, but there are so many types of flowers that we have. Let me use a fruit because at least I know a number of fruits. We have a container that we call fruit. Then we can have objects that explains the fruit, the type of fruit. So when you talk of an apple, banana, when you talk of mangoes, then banana, mangoes, and apples, they become the object of the class that you're calling fruit. Think of a car. A car, I can have the object as the owners of the car. So you can talk about me, Nancy, as an object of the car, as the owner of a car. We can have Mercy as the owner of a car. We can have Susan as an object of this container that you call class. Somebody else that you call car. Somebody else can think of a class as of car, and they talk about the type of car. When you talk of Mercedes, it can be an object. When you talk of Toyota, when you talk of Mazda, all this can be an object. It looks like an object explains, or rather simplifies the class. It diversifies the class, and the object does not fall far away from a class. So you cannot have a class of cars and then have an object of fruits. So we'll talk deeper on object-oriented programming, but for now, just understand these are classes and objects. And these classes and objects are simply, we are calling data and methods. We're going again to look at all that once we get into details. The three main concept of object-oriented programming is simple: inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation. We're also going to see inheritance in work. Once you inherit, can a class inherit? When we define a class like a fruit, a banana can inherit from a fruit. If we have a class we call car, and the car can start and stop and drive, we can inherit. I can have a Mercedes also and inherit the start, stop, and drive. Then we have polymorphism. Mainly polymorphism comes in when we start doing getters and setters of a class. We're going to see how one item can take different shapes. And finally, we have data hiding, and that is what we call encapsulation. When we talk of private, public, and protected, what do we mean, and how accessible do we have when we talk of the three? So these ones we're going to talk in details once we start touching on them.